Good morning. This being the first Sunday of March, this will be our Shotsuki service, where we honor those who passed away in the month of March. As I read the names, please go to your home obutudan or altar and burn incense in their memory. Even if we do not call their names, and you know a loved one who passed away this month of March, please burn incense in their honor. Emiko Ishisaki, Ayako Otsuji, Richard Iwao Ito Sr., Tohoru Shimizu, Gilbert Wakisaka, Bruce Moriyama, Ben Sekishiro, Mary Yagura, Shizuko Tsukamoto, Katie Kraus, Tadami Maruyama, Susumu Kawato, Yoshiko Kawato, Sam Amano, Fred Nabeta, Rui Nemoto, Mark Kasubuchi, Misao Kawasaki, Michael Kawamoto, Kyoko Baker, Masahito Iwanaga, Fumie Martin, Rosie Yamada, Kyo Kawasaki, Chisato Kuroe, Shoichi Nomura, Masaru Niwata, Miyako Holt, Haruki Koba, Tama Shonekura, Miyuki Takanashi, Hisaji Taniguchi, Hideo Watamura, Tsune Yamasaki, Zenpachi Kubota, Susumu Yagi, Shiro Takahashi, Kimi Terada, Grace Hosaka, Tsukiichi Yamada, Haruhiko Otsuji, Tsuna Torio, Masaru Yanagihara, Tetsu Tachiki, Hamano Matsui, Masaaki Tanizaki, Yuku Osaka, Kyotaro Osaki, Toru Kiyono, Roy Yamada, Uemon Ohara, Shunzo Sakamoto, Shimeno Nabeta, Shina Nishiue, Matsu Higuchi, Motono Oto, Fusamatsu Morimoto, Akira Date, Yoshito Yamamoto, Zenkichi Iwashita, Suji Kaneko, Fude Hirai, Tsune Haseyama, Ichinosuke Kiyono, Taiki Ikemi, Sawa Yamanishi, Dennis Suenaga, Kura Hashimoto, Yoshigoro Mamiya, Tokumatsu Shiosaki, Shina Shindo, Mizuno Nakano, Yonekichi Tsukaba Kihara, Matsu Yamanishi, Iwakichi Okumura, Kenkichi Yanagihara, Sadao Kinoshita, Tomie Torimaru, Tsugiyo Ishizaki. And with that, again, you may burn incense if there are loved ones who passed away in this month of March. Thank you. Good morning. It's been a year since we have been able to meet in our temple, but now it's nearing Ohigan time, the equinox, when days and nights are even. Night and day, that's about the same amount of time. But we're coming out of a long winter, and things are looking up. Days are getting longer, evenings are a little more visible, and it's getting a little warmer. Things are looking up. Vaccinations are much more available. Hospitalizations are down. And so there seems to be a cloud lifting. And we're coming out of a long winter. Last year was very noisy. There was a lot of noise, it seemed. Words, comments, tweets. And We kept hearing about controversies and unprecedented actions by our then president, and people were upset with each other. There were lots of blame going around, and not much was getting done. But now things are quiet. Things are getting done. People are working. And with the new administration, there seems to be leadership with experience. Vaccinations are working. Volunteers are really helping to get everyone vaccinated. Real work is getting done, and it's quiet. In less than 2 months, vaccines have been distributed throughout the U.S., and the rate of vaccination is really up. Volunteers are helping with this. And volunteers, all of us, are helping with wearing the masks and keeping our social distancing. With proper leadership, common, ordinary people like us make life work. We make life easy for each other. And this is a democracy where everyone participates. The same is true in our temples. I want to make a comparison a little later of our temples with our national leadership. Now, there are signs of disgruntled people, because we do have people that blame others for their feeling not so well. And there will always be a few who make things difficult for others. Asians are being abused at a much higher rate. We're being blamed because the then outgoing president said that the pandemic was caused by the Chinese virus or the Kung flu. And so you may have heard that the Higashi Temple in Los Angeles and the Japanese American Museum were vandalized. So I ask all of us to be careful when we go out and take care of ourselves. Now, there is a comparison we might make between the national leadership, the national government, and our National Buddhist Organization, the BCA. Because last month, we had our annual BCA National Conference. And this is when all the temples get together with 2 representatives and the resident minister from each temple meeting. And for the first time, it was held on Zoom. It went very smoothly. It was very well organized, and a lot was accomplished. Now, it would be great if all Sangha members could witness what goes on in these meetings, because I think you would be impressed, and there would be less complaints about how the BCA is run. Because for the most part, it's run by volunteers. And we might know that a similar thing happens in all our temples, because each temple has an annual general meeting where all the members are invited to talk and listen to the leadership, discuss how the temple has been running for the past year. And we could find out how our individual temples operate and how the BCA operates. And the point I'm trying to make here is that the BCA is us, all of us. And some may think that it runs like a big corporation, very smoothly with a lot of professionals taking charge. But in actual fact, there's only a handful of paid staff, and they're overworked and understaffed. Most of the other work is done by volunteers, just like you and me. And everyone does a tremendous job, because what we have experienced has been done by a small staff and everyone else. So what I'm saying is that the BCA is us. People like you who volunteer to help, either at the temple, district, or BCA level. And some people have been doing this for decades. They've been on committees and worked at different positions and doing it just because they love to help others. I appreciate your work and the work of so many others in the past. Now, most of the positions in the BCA are done by volunteers. And like our local temple, the district, and the BCA, this is what we might call that this occurs due to the compassion of Amida Buddha, or the efforts of others. And this is part of the meaning of Namo Amida Butsu, that we are part of Amida Buddha. We are in oneness. Not that we are Amida Buddha entirely, but we are part of this universal spirit, this effort of others, this effort to help others. All of us who volunteer to help others are part of this thought of Amida Buddha. And so Amida Buddha is not just the mythical Buddha, it is this universal spirit of compassion that really is thought in thinking of helping others. We are the energy of Amida Buddha. Whenever we help others, whenever there's an activity where everyone is helped. Now, when I say we are BCA, regular members can be leadership in BCA, and we see this all the time. We have Terry Omori, who is the member of the Vista Temple, and she will be our president, our BCA national president next year, and she will be the first woman to hold this position. Now, some may ask, what are the benefits of being a BCA member? Why do temples have to be connected to BCA? One reason is that BCA does provide ministers like me. And so how did I get here? I attended the Institute of Buddhist Studies, IBS. And how did IBS get to be there? First, it was a study center started by Reverend Imamura. And over time, it became the Institute of Buddhist Studies. Bishop Yamaoka was instrumental in connecting it with the Graduate Theological Union. And now, in more recent years, with the help of several deans, and especially Dr. Reverend David Matsumoto, it was accredited. And we were accredited last year, which means we are able to give out graduate degrees and are recognized by many other schools in the nation. So in order for me to become a minister and be trained in English in America, it's taken the existence of IBS, which was formed many years ago and has changed form, but it's helped many people become ministers here in America. And to be ordained, I did have to go to Japan. And for that, it meant that centuries of ministers and scholars have developed a university in Japan after Shinran's thinking and his words to develop a curriculum and a method whereby ministers can be ordained there. And so it's taken literally thousands of people for this to happen. That's why I say we are part of Amida Buddha. That just by saying Namo Amida Butsu, we are expressing our deep gratitude that we were able to be part of this whole institution. And this Namo Amida Butsu is an expression of gratitude, and it's a guide to lead us toward truth. And so I thank each of you for helping me become a Buddhist minister. Now, another big reason that a national organization is possible, and the reason that it exists, is to provide a national coordinated way of education. We can see a disadvantage of separate individual temples just existing on their own. As an example, in the political side, if each state were independent and put on their own, it would be difficult. And we see this happen last year, as each state was supposed to fight against the coronavirus, which doesn't know state boundaries. And so people traveling from state to state extended the result in the infection rate, where 500,000 people, Americans, have died. And so we see that we need this national coordinated effort to fight this. And fortunately, we have that now. And again, the vaccine is possible, and a system has been set up where people are able to be vaccinated. But it does take each of us not only to be vaccinated, but to maintain our health standards where we wear masks and stay socially distant until we're sure that this virus is under control. So Shin Buddhism in America is like that national organization. The BCA is able to coordinate things and provide an education on a national scale. Now, what it provides, we can see at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley, where IBS, the Institute of Buddhist Studies, is located. And it also houses the Center for Buddhist Education, who provide many programs which are now on the internet. And it has a situation where our ministers from Japan, from Ryukoku, can come and study and see America before they decide to transfer here. There's also the bookstore. And BCA also has a website where anyone in America who is on the web can see courses and take courses and see the various temples in America where they might attend. So all this is possible because of a national organization. So taking part in these activities is a way that we can contribute to others learning about Shin Buddhism. And so this is our comparison of a national government and the national BCA. Because in a democracy, each of us is responsible for our leadership and the laws and how we govern ourselves. And so each of us is BCA in how we can expand the Dharma and help others learn what we have learned and live with the guidance of Shindan. Now, in the Shin Buddhist world, we're affected by truth, and truth is the governing body of both religion and government. When it's guided by truth, we see joy and happiness. When it is not, there's often anger, violence, injustice. And so that's one method of deciding whether we are on the path to truth or just floundering in a way of individual tendencies and thinking only of ourselves. It doesn't work when you see that there's violence and anger, but it does work when you see people are cooperating and there's harmony. So again, I want to repeat, each of us is BCA, and the thought of Amida Buddha or the compassion of Amida is very important. And we can think of Amida as someone who really is concerned for our welfare. And we see this, as I say, in the efforts of others. All these people I mentioned who created our educational structure for our ministers and the whole organization of the Buddhist Churches of America. And so, as part of BCA, we can help to bring others to this truth and know that we are grounded in seeking truth and guided by that. So at this time, please join me in expressing our deepest appreciation for the Nembutsu and the Shin teachings of Shindan so that we may help others live in harmony. Gassho. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Amanda.